the song cracks me up, you guys, because it's like so codependent. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, I only miss you when I'm breathing. So I feel about my cats. If I could text them throughout the day to let them know I'm thinking of them, I absolutely would. And they would just be so annoyed and it would tickle me. Anyway, hello, hi everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for Pilates Sculpt all levels. Today we're going to use a ball, a mini band, and some weights. However, if you don't have a mini band, it's fine. You're still gonna get that muscular activation. If you don't have a ball, you can fold a pillow a couple times and use that. And if you don't have weights, you can either grab some like wine bottles, some like gallon water jugs, or just squeeze your beautiful muscles, no problem. My name is Audra, for those of you who don't know me. And as always, listen to your body. Breaks are great. Feel free to modify. That's it. We're gonna get started standing and just kind of check out where you are today, right? Notice if your weight is over your toes or if your weight is over your heels. And then notice what your knees are doing, right? Are they hyperextended? Are they bent? Or are they just gently neutral over your ankle? And then with your hips, kind of the same check-in, right? If your hip bones are like arrows, are those arrows pointing down? Are those arrows pointing up? Are those arrows pointing straight ahead? And then with your ribs, right? Are they, if it's a lid on top of a soup pot, is steam escaping front, back, or is it just gently resting there? And then notice where your shoulders are. Are they protracted, retracted, or are they just gently set? And then where are your ears, right? Now nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body, and we roll down. Letting your spine dangle, and just notice where you went, right? So if your hips slid really far back behind you, see if you can bring your weight a little bit more on top of your feet and see if that feels different. Yeah. And just gently nod your head yes a little bit. And then gently shake your head no a little bit. And gently nod your head yes. And roll all the way back up, trying to stack over your ankles. And we nod and roll one more time. Letting your spine peel off of an imaginary wall, bone by bone, until you get to the bottom. And then this time, take your hands up and over to one side and breathe. And then up and over to the other side. Come to center and come all the way down onto all fours. Now, if it's not comfortable to be on your hands, you can always be on your fists or your forearms, or you can use weights here. So first, don't worry too much about exactly where your hand placement is. I want you to think about your sits bones widening a little without letting your back arch. Inhale into your back, exhale away from the front. So we're not moving our spine, but we are using our breath to try to find stability here. So we're breathing wide and back, and then exhaling narrow and up a little bit. Good. Trying not to tuck or arch, just find everything moving together. If you allow your ribs to move, and your diaphragm to move, your intrinsic core stabilizers will start kicking on. Now, keeping your sits bones wide, just press your hips back a little bit, letting your thigh bones sink in the socket, and then use your back line to kind of press yourself back a little bit. And then widen through your sits bones, press yourself back. We're still breathing. And then forward. Couple more. Last one. Coming back to center. Now still maintain that breath, okay? Inhale, exhale, see if you can float one hand up without shifting anything. And then bring it down, inhale, exhale, other side. And again. So what we're trying to accomplish is stabilizing without gripping or bracing, right? A lot of times we feel like we have to engage everything in order to keep something from moving, which is a fine strategy when it's called for, but sometimes we need to be able to stabilize without that like intentional like squeezing and activating, right? So that's why we're trying to just find our breath and allow that to help us stabilize. Our diaphragm, pelvic floor, transverse abdominis create basically a canister of support. Now, you can stay here or you can slide your opposite foot out. It can stay on the ground to start and then slowly bring it in. Other side. Back and forth, just trying to find what your body is saying today, right? Now, if you like, you can hover that foot off the ground. And maybe that works for you, maybe it doesn't, good. And it's not about getting it high, right? It's a hover. So a couple inches off the ground only. Good, lower. Yeah, yep, so keep it low, yeah, good. Belly button up a little bit, Nancy, belly button, there. Oh, I'll keep your leg lower. Yeah, there, see how much easier that was to stabilize? Good. Nice job, everybody. Now, slide one foot out. Hold. Push into that foot a little bit. Keep it on the ground. Push that heel away from you, coming into ankle dorsiflexion. Good. Now, lift your belly button just a little. Push your hands into the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Hover that other knee up. And then tap that knee down. Exhale. Hover it up. Now, as you do this, maybe you keep that toe down. Maybe the knee doesn't actually hover, but you just think about it. You can still get muscle recruitment. So we are not dropping our head. We're not using our shoulders here as much as our abs. So if you feel your neck, think about hugging your armpits down a little, keeping your abs nice and tight, belly button and hip bones lift an inch. That's what lets that knee hover. Last one. Other side. So extend it out, yeah. Push into that foot so that heel comes into ankle dorsiflexion, right? Making sure we're not collapsing. We're just lifting that belly button, lifting our hips, and as a result, that knee can float up and then back down. Maybe the toe stays down. Maybe you just envision lifting without anything actually coming off the ground. Couple more here. Good. Everybody using their breath? Good. 2. Last one. Now, inhale. Push into that foot. Exhale, slide your other foot out to meet it. Lengthen through your ears. And then you can bend one knee, reach the other leg back. If you don't want to do that, you can just hold. Lifting your belly button up. Yeah, good. Nice. Couple more, everybody. 3, 2. Last set. Knees down. Press yourselves into your rest position. Nice job. How did those feel? I'll take your silence as a great. Yeah. So while we're down here, we're just going to start pretty simply. So hands down, elbows in front, shoulders draw down. So just paddle your fingers into the floor, squeeze your tricep, lift that elbow, slowly lower. So this, of course, is the easier variation of this. And then if you are like, okay, cool, I would like more work, please. Bring your arms more forward. And then if you would like more work, you come into a knee plank. Okay? So keep your, yeah. So if you're back here, you have to shift your weight and then slowly decelerate. If you're in a knee plank, same thing, except the hands will have to be a little bit farther forward. It's a little tricep push-up. If you want to be in a full plank, you obviously can. I personally don't have the strength to go into a full plank myself. Couple more. Try to keep those elbows coming down. So weight back a little. Yeah. So if you were doing tricep dips on the TRX like this, it's the same move. It's just a different angle. So, yep, belly button up. Just lower your elbows. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So elbows, but bring your hands forward just a little bit so your elbows can touch down. 2 more. They don't have to, but it's cool if they can. Yeah. And then press yourselves back. Hands up and over to one side. Press your hips away. And then other side. And coming back to center, we're going to come back onto all fours. I'm going to use my weights because my wrists aren't loving being like this. You can be on your fists, your weights, or your forearms. Slide one foot back. Now the knee that's forward, you're actually going to cross it towards your opposite elbow. Hold. Good, hold. Hold. Hold, take it back. Other side, hold. 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 And back. That hold is the fun part, isn't it? Hold. 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 And again. Now, if you need to, could you be on all fours instead of in a plank? Of course. Could you be in a knee plank instead? Of course. We have one more each side. Pushing the floor away to lift yourself up rather than letting yourself sink. Last one. Knees down. Press yourselves into a rest position. And then roll on up. Guess what? It's mini band time. So go ahead, bring your mini band onto your legs if you have one. You can bring it to below your knee or above. I personally prefer above, but that's just my own personal preference. We're going to come all the way to standing, however you need to. Any minute. I'll just wait. You guys are cracking me up. Okay, so feet in line with your sits bones if you can, and then pay attention to what your toes are doing. If our toes are externally rotating, it's actually going to get more of that lateral hamstring than our glute. So bring your toes to point forward. Think about your inner thighs hugging together, and then using your glutes, you kind of rotate out a little. Good. And let's try something. Let's take our hands put them in your back pocket. Now without the inner thighs, side pocket, not, yeah, in between there. Without using the inner thighs, just squeeze your glutes. Feel how those deep hip rotators kick on so much that pocket deepens quite a bit. Now, see if you can find inner thigh and then squeeze your glute. And see if that changes what's working. Hopefully it's now a little bit more superficial. Great. Keep that. Push one foot into the floor, lift your other foot. Great. Now, push that knee out to the side. And bring it in, yeah. And again. Beautiful, everybody. Now, if you're dropping your hip or you're shifting your weight, take a second to come back to center, right? We're also making sure we're not anteriorly tilting. Good. And do you feel how everything kicks on just a little bit differently when you press out versus when you bring it in? So we're going out to the side, right? So it's a sweep to the side. If you're feeling the front corner of your hip, check to see if you're internally rotating or if your knee is coming forward more. Good. Two more. Yeah. Last one, we get to hold. Yeah. Check out this stabilizing leg. Is that knee coming in or is it dynamically stabilizing? Good. Tap that toe down slightly behind you. Bend this front knee. Now, slide your tail feathers back, let your hip bones rotate around. Hold. Push this foot into the floor, keep your knee bent, hinge back up. We are coming into hip extension before knee extension here. Slide your sits bones back, right? So the reason I want you to slide back is if we are hip hinging forward without allowing that, it's actually more pressure on our erectors, right? Because our lever is farther away from us. So bring it in a little bit. And we're keeping that knee bent. Bend the knee more, Nance. Keep it bent as you come up. Yeah. So that creates more work in our soleus, our hamstring, and our glute, and less work in the end range of our quad. Two more. Yeah. Good. Keep the knee bent, even when you're at your top, right? It's tempting to be here, but we need to be here. Side note, guess what move we need to be able to do when we walk? This. Not the whole time, just some of the time. We're gonna hold it down. And then this foot, push it behind you. And then allow it to fold in. Reach it back and fold. You can either drag it on the ground, or you can tap it, or you can hover it. Yeah. Few more. It is spicy. Good. My God. So when Audra was younger, they would sometimes go, "That's a spicy meatball." I almost just was like, good. Couple more. How's that glute feeling, everybody? So good? Yeah. Now, bring that toe in, hold. I want you to think of your hips and ribs moving in one piece. Ignore this leg, does not exist anymore. This is the only leg that exists. You're going to rotate your hip bones to face that front leg. With, good, almost, and then back. So let's check it out. We're not rotating from the ribs, okay? It's tempting to be here. We are rotating from the hips. Hip slides down, and then make sure your knee doesn't move. Yeah, and then back. Think of this inner thigh pulling you into internal rotation. And then the glute pushes you back to neutral. Inner thigh pulls you into that internally rotated position. Do you feel the difference, you guys? Good. Two more. Last one. And hold. All right, lift that foot. Good. 4, 3, keep that knee still, and up. Yeah. Guess what? Other side. Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna press into our feet, keep those toes forward, find those inner thighs, and then the glutes, and then lift that foot. Boom. Now, if your knee is like, I want to come in, spiral from that thigh bone, or make sure your foot is helping, right? The knee is affected by the joint below it and the joint above it. And we can press. Good. If you need to, can you hold on to something? Of course. Is your band just being sneaky? Yeah, that looks good. Yeah. Mine, I have a pair of leggings that I love, but as soon as I put the band on, it's like just a tiny rubber band that cuts off my circulation every time. So, yeah. So if at any point you're like, this band is more trouble than it's worth, get rid of it, it's fine. Still using your breath. Good. Doing okay, you guys? Yeah. Everybody feeling those side glutes kicking on? Yeah, it's just the beginning. 2. Last 1. Tap it down. Now, make sure this knee is bent. We're going to hip hinge. So we are moving our hip bones around our thigh bone. Good. So we're sticking our butt out. We're not going past 90. And if our back rounds, it's not the end of the world. It just takes the work out of that glute. Push into the floor. Keep the knee bent. Bring it into hip extension, not knee extension. Yeah. And then back. Good. Now, if one side you're like, man, I do not feel my glute the same way, it could be like just a little bit of like positional change, right? Like most of us have one hip that comes forward more than the other. So if, for example, you're like, I don't feel this glute as much, think of your tailbone pointing slightly the other direction and see if that helps. Good. Couple more. Don't forget to push into the floor. Yeah. Use the floor as a prop, right? When we're on the reformer, we use the foot bar to close that chain. If you bend your front knee a little bit more, yeah, and then stick your butt out a little more, there. And then how does that feel? A little bit more exciting? Great. Good, because we're trying to eccentrically load that glute, right? Couple more. 3, 2. Still breathing like we did at the beginning, right? Using that breath to help protect your back. Last one. Bring it down. Hold it there. Tap. And in. Or push. Or slide. Good. But notice how the band is trying to pull the knee in one place, right? Which all we need to do is try to keep the knee stable. Maybe you have to think about that hip, maybe you don't, right? So we're actually trying to use the band to help our hip dynamically stabilize our knee, okay? So we don't have to squeeze and brace the whole time. We just trust it to do its job, right? You guys are like, I guess, yes, good. So just that your glutes are screaming so much you can't really think about it? Okay, that's fine. You think it does. No, I'm kidding. I said, you think it hides the grimace. Last one. You're all amazing. Bring it in. If you need a break, take one. Otherwise, using that inner thigh to rotate that opposite hip bone to point towards your inner thigh. And then push into the floor, use that glute. Good. And it doesn't have to be a big rotation, right? This might be your range. If you're trying to get farther and your shoulders are going way farther than your hip, all that means, hey, Nancy, on this side, you're kind of leaning. take your right foot behind you slightly. Yeah, bend your right knee more. Now, just point your right hip towards that left knee. Down. Yeah. Oh, no. Good. Couple more. Good. It's a whole new world. Last one. Nice job, everybody. Give yourself a second, walk it out. We're gonna widen our stance. All right, so let's just talk about stance real quickly. If we are wider than hip distance and we bend everything forward, that is actually an internal rotation and can put pressure on the knee. So we're also not going into a huge external rotation, but we are toeing out slightly from our hip. Our knee needs to be in line with our second or third toe for this, okay? So sink it down into a little squat-ish position, okay? Yeah, now, making sure this does not feel bad on your knee, we are not letting it collapse in from the knee. We're letting our foot relax, our hip relax. Notice how that knee comes in. Then we are lifting our arch and activating that glute so that knee comes out. Just on one side, then we do the other. Let the foot relax, let that glute relax, and then it goes onto the other side. Yeah, good. Good. One side and then the other side. So when you do one side, you're having to stabilize on the other. Good. Is that feeling okay on everybody's knees? Great. A couple more. Now, as we're doing this, let's just see if we can just change the way we're thinking about it a little bit. So now we're going to resist the band a little bit with the glute. So the foot's relaxing and we're just resisting a little and then pressing back. That's all. Good. Good. One more like this each side. And then we're just going to change our concept, right? Now this time, we're letting the glute relax and we're resisting with the foot. And then we're getting that foot and glute back on. So now notice how the foot has to kind of arch a little bit throughout. One more each side. Good, and come all the way up. Ready? Great. Come all the way down. You might want to bring your feet a little bit closer together, just a tiny bit. Sink it back down. Now, letting your knees, hips, and ankles all move, okay? Now, when we step to one side, think about the opposite leg. So we're going to take one step to the left, but it's because you're pushing off of that right foot. Push off of the right to step to the left, and then other side. Good. So a lot of times we tend to reach with one foot, and we reach with one foot, but instead, we're now keeping our weight more centralized over that leading leg. Untuck your tailbone just a little bit, other direction. Yeah, and then sink down a tiny bit more. Yeah, is that more glute? Good. Does that feel okay in your back? Great. Good, and Suze, press your knees out a little more. There you go. Arch your feet a little more. Yeah, good. 2. Stephanie, lift your arches a little bit. You do. Yeah. So come up a little. Just lift your arches. Yeah. So look at me. Lift your torso, bend your knees. Yeah, is that better? Ish. Good. One more. Nice job, everybody. Feet together. Nod your chin, hollow out. As we roll it down, roll that band off. Yeah. You already do. All right. And just let yourself relax. And bend one knee. And then the other side. And then come all the way up. All right. We're going to do some lunging variations, but let's talk. If lunging is really hard for you, you don't have to go into a full lunge, okay? So come into a little athletic stance. That's it. Bringing your feet pretty close together. Slide one foot out. Now, if you can, kind of ignore this back leg a little. You're gonna elevate her down with that front leg and then push into that front leg to get you up. Slide it in. That's it. Now, maybe this is where you are. Maybe you're like, doesn't quite work for me. How about slide it out, bend a fraction? Or maybe you just do the athletic position, right? Now, if that's pretty easy, come up, float the leg up, hold. Then try to keep your foot out of it as long as possible. Yeah. Slowly lower, push to lift. And couple more. 3, 2. Hey, guess what, you guys? Getting up and down off the ground. Know how important that is in life? So important. Yeah. We're gonna hold this last one down. Yeah, hold this last one down. Now inhale. Exhale, see if you can float this leg up. And back down. Inhale, exhale. Good. I know. Now, try not to be in a huge tuck here. Trying to find neutral. A tuck is fine, a tuck is great. We should also be able to move in neutral. 2, yeah. Last one, hold. And we get to come back up. Other side. You guys excited? Good. Come into that athletic stance. Start by tapping it up. Then drag yourself down from that front leg. Push, lift, in. Couple more. Right? So finding that position where you're already going to be using the back line of your leg. Hey, Nancy. Stop 1 second. Hold on. Stick your butt out a little. Think forward. Notice how much easier that was? Yeah. Up. Yeah. So if you have a slightly more forward, it just gets that glute on more. Whereas if you're upright, it's way more pressure on that back knee. Right? Yeah. Now, if you want, you can come all the way up. Keep that back leg straight as you come up. Yeah, because you're pushing into the floor. And then see how little you can use that back foot as you come down. Oh, arch. Yeah. And just notice if the foot wants to come in. If it does, is that from your foot or from your hip, right? Or is it both, right? Couple more, you guys. Think forward, right? Yeah. Couple more. 2. Last one. We're going to come all the way down. We're going to hold. Now, if you're in an arched or deeply tucked position, see if you can find neutral. Inhale. Exhale. First one never counts, right? It's okay, yeah. It only counts if you do really well. Now, Nancy, shift your weight back a little, lift your ears to the sky. Yeah, much easier, right? Because you've got more space. With this, if you're too far forward, you have nowhere to go, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good. Couple more. and 2. Last one. Come all the way up. We grab our weights. All right. Now, guys excited? Doing okay? All right. So let's find our structure, right? So find your feet and then find your inner thighs. When you're straightening your leg, it can be tempting to send your knee back, but I want you to think about actually like pulling your knee up to your face. So you've got quad activation. Good. Now, find that lift of the glute to help you in neutral. See if you can lift one heel or float the leg to table, or float the leg up. Yeah. Now, bicep curl. And then exhale, press the arms overhead. Slowly lower, and then slowly lower. Good. And up. Now, it is tempting to keep those arms wide and bent. Think about pushing straight up. Yeah. Don't worry about your shoulders. Shoulders can lift here. Lift your shoulders to straighten your arms. Yeah. Now shoulders down and bend. Yeah. So we always hear the cue shoulders down, which isn't bad because we don't want to live here and we don't always want to initiate from here, right? But our shoulders are meant to lift some. So don't be afraid of it, right? So initiate by just opening your armpits. And then at the end, instead of pulling your shoulders down, let them lift, like you're pushing the sky away. Yeah. Does that feel better? Yeah. And then other side. So find that structural support. Foot, quad, hammy, glute. Yeah. And we're gonna lift and press. Yeah. And so this isn't a ton of weight, right? We're trying to get, like our core to stabilize us, our leg to stabilize us. We're trying to get those deltoids on, a little bit of bicep, but it's not, like a ton of weight, and that's okay. Good. Nice. So when our arms are overhead, you guys keep going. This is what I think is kind of interesting. Our first rib is actually designed to rotate up to allow that arm to come up, right? So if you think of your collarbone spiraling up a little bit, right? You can't do that while forcing those shoulders down. They have to be able to lift a little, right? Yeah, yeah. Last one. Nice job. All right. So you have options. We can do this standing, or if you're like, man, my back is not loving this, you can come down some. Otherwise, we're gonna hug our elbows back. Now making sure we're not squeezing, we're not retracting, we are widening. So it's like a posterior tilt of our shoulder blades, not a retraction. So tuck them under. And then just squeeze your triceps to straighten your arms. That is a hold. Yeah. Now, when you press back, if you go past the point where your triceps are working and you dump your shoulders forward, that's pec minor. So that's why we want to set the shoulders. Suze, hold. Retract less. Yeah, just externally rotate through your upper arm bone. Yes. Yeah. Good. So think wide, like you're taking off a jacket. Nancy, you're kind of starting back here, elbows down, bend your torso forward. Keep your elbows right where they are. No, right where they were. Just straighten your arm. Yeah, now hold. I want you to come into a little external rotation. Now see if you can keep your upper arm bones right where they are, just move it your hands. Yeah, that's where you're gonna go each time. Just bend. and reach. Press down with your hands a little. Yeah, better. Does that feel more in the back of your arm? Yeah, that's what we're going for. Good. Stephanie, I can't quite tell if you're lifting your shoulders or retracting them. Lift them to your ears, drop them straight down. That's where you're gonna be. Yep. Just like that. Does that feel a little different in the neck? Okay. Give me 2 more. Good. Last one, hold. Just hold. And see where you feel this. I want it to be the back of your arm, right? Then flip your palm to face the sky. And then flip your palm the other way. Yeah, back and forth. So the cool thing about this is it seems like the motion of the hand is what is changing that muscle activation, but it's really where your shoulder is that's changing it. We have 2 more. Relax your shoulders out of your ears. Yeah, last one. Nice job. Come on to all 4s. Bring your weights with you. Now, this is a harder position to find this in than this. So if you find yourself getting into your neck and shoulders, bring your hips back so you're not having to worry about gravity as much, okay? So we're gonna row. Think about setting your shoulders. They are wide, they're posteriorly tilted, ribs are active, and we're not bringing the elbow back here. We are gliding it. So if we were to do that tricep extension, we'd find 1 line, okay? So set your shoulders, hold. Bring it down, set your shoulders, other side. Oh, is this like what we did earlier without the weight? Yeah, keep breathing, low and wide. So you don't have to force stability. Couple more. And 2. And 2. Last set. And come down. Nice job. Hands together, press them overhead. Shoulders here. We are going to not force down, but we're just going to relax. Okay. Now bend those elbows and press up. Now, hey, if you're like, this is not comfortable and I don't know why, check your elbows. If they are forward and you can't quite find that range, it could just be that your lats might be a little restricted. So instead, come down and keep the elbows straight up. Nancy, try this one. Slowly lower and then squeeze. Yeah, so just lay down on your back. Hands to the sky, arm bones relax down. Keep the elbows still. Bend the hands down. Squeeze to lift. Yeah, that's a better position for your shoulders. Good. We have 3. Suze, lift your ears. Good. 2. Nice job, you guys. How's this feeling? Great? Yeah. Last 1. Nice job. We're going to come onto our back. Go ahead and grab the ball. Once again, if you don't have one, a pillow works great. A yoga block should also be fine for some of these. We're going to bring the ball in between our knees. And we're going to roll all the way down. Now, take your hands, place them on your thighs, press your hands gently into your thighs to get a little bit of traction through your low back. If you press at 100 and then let go, there can be a recoil effect. So that's why we're gently pressing. And then as you're gently pressing, on your exhale, see if you can just gently hug your hip bones together. On your inhale, widen your hip bones and sits bones and ribs. Exhale, gently hug them together. Last inhale, last exhale, start to slowly take your hands away. Hands interlaced behind your head. Spiral your elbows forward here. Shoulder blades kind of open or smile. So you've got your serratus helping kick on. Collarbone spiral forward as we come into our chest lift. Now, first one never really counts. See where you are, right? And then lower back down. On this next one, think about coming up and over a beach ball and see if that allows your transverse abdominis to kick on a little. If that was tricky, before you move, sink your belly button down, hip bones together, and then move. So whichever helps you feel more even integration is what I would like. 2 more. Hold this last one. Bring one hand forward. We're going to take that hand, think about locking it into our torso. Rotate so it comes across the body. And then back to center. Other side, rotate so it comes across the body. Trying to keep that opposite hip nice and still. You can always bring your legs to tabletop if that works for you. I personally get more out of it with my feet down, but that's just me. 2 more. Last one, switch sides. If you have to lower your head, of course, lower it. Otherwise, keep it elevated and we rotate. As we do this, think about the shoulder blade of the arm that's behind your head. The bottom tip of it might barely kiss the ground. We're trying not to set the shoulder on the ground. We're also not trying to come up so high that our hip flexors are doing the work. So a good rule of thumb is that shoulder blade, the bottom tip of it, just barely kisses the ground. 2 more. Last one. Come all the way down. Go ahead, take the prop, place it into your hands. If we are internally rotating here, it's going to be a lot of pec. So I want you to kind of hug your armpits down, let your elbows drop. So we're coming into external rotation, trying to find lat, serratus, oblique connection, okay? Press one foot into the floor, float your other leg to tabletop. Push the heels of your hands into the ball, press your knee into the ball. Hold. Everybody feel that little connection? Great. And then step that foot down, other side. We're just going to start here. Now, we're in a neutral, back and forth, and we're finding this isometric contraction. And it's important not to just pause. We want to hold it, find that work. And again. Now, maybe this is where you stay. Or bring both knees together, squeeze your inner thighs like you're trying to pop a balloon, and you're going to tap one toe away from you as you press into that other leg, and then you switch. Back and forth a couple times. Almost there. Now, maybe this is where you stay. Maybe you push that foot away and extend it away from you as opposed to dropping it down. Imagine pushing it into a wall so there's a little bit of resistance from that leg. And maybe this is where you are. Maybe you want more challenge, in which case I say, great. You'll bring your head up and you will support your head with one hand, push, and then come back to center, switch. Couple more. If that is too much with the ball, you can bring both hands behind your head, and you're going to use that hand to press it into that leg, press the leg into your hand. So it's abs and glute. One more, each side. Now hug your knees in towards your chest, set the ball to the side, roll your wrists out. We're gonna do a couple crisscross variations, should be fun for me. Hands behind your head, spiral your elbows forward, squeeze those inner thighs together, come into your chest lift. Push your right foot away, rotate left, hold, hold. Slowly do the other. Hold, hold. You can point your toes or flex them. Switch slow. 4, 3, 2, hold, hold. Slow. 4, 3, 2, hold that rotation. Hold, hold. One more set like this, and then we change it up. So we're not actually coming back to center to hold. We're just taking 4 counts to get across. 4, 3, 2, and then squeeze, freeze. Now rotate to that first side again. Hold. Do not move your upper body. Upper body stays still. Move your lower body. Upper body stays still. Move your lower body. Upper body stays still. Switch your legs. Upper body stays still. Switch your legs. One more set. Last one, hold. Now, lower body stays still. Upper body moves. Lower body stays still. Upper body moves. If you need to, that extended leg can be on the ground. We're just moving our upper body back and forth. 2 more. Last one, switch everything. Hold. Upper body stays still. Move your lower body. Upper body doesn't move. Move your lower body. If you need to, could you just tap your toe instead? Yeah, no problem. Almost there. One more set. And then hold. Lower body stays still, don't move, only upper body. Lower body stays still, don't move, only upper body. Yeah, if you need to, that leg can extend and rest on the ground. Your obliques are still moving. 2 more. One more set. And come back to center, hug your knees in towards your chest. Nice job. Those are not easy. All right, go ahead. With your knees bent, we're gonna imprint our spine and then find neutral. One more, neutral. Now, extend your legs, imprint your spine, find neutral. If you cannot imprint here, bend your knees a fraction of an inch. See if you can imprint that way, okay? Now, arms come up to the sky. Arm bones relax down. Try to be in neutral here, right? So hip bones and pubic bone are on one plane. Arms come overhead. Lift your chest, bringing your hands forward, and peel your spine forward, one bone at a time. Yeah, I know your abs are probably like, why would you do that to me now? So pull your ribs back and go ahead, curl, slow, 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 slow. Hey, everybody, use your breath. Inhale. Yeah, so much easier, right? Hey, on the way down, see if you can slow it down some. So let's see if we can do 6 counts down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amazing. And then use your breath. Now, if you want more work, I have not tried this in a very long time, but we'll see. If you want more work, hold a weight at your chest. Keep it slow, right? Yeah. And then still use your breath, right? Curl, curl, curl. Yeah. So keep it slow on the way down for 5, 4, 3, don't give up. Curl your tailbone. 2, 1. Nice job. Use that breath. Yeah. Everybody got one more? So fun, right? Use that breath. That was a non-committal yes, but I'm okay with that for 5, 4, relax your shoulders. 3, 2, you're fantastic. Last one. And nice job. Come on to your forearm and your hip. Yay! Now, we're gonna do side plank, but we have a bunch of different variations. So first, no slumber party shoulder, right? Right. Push that elbow into the ground. Lift your ribs away from the ground. So you're lengthening this top side. Yeah. Now, maybe this is where you are. Maybe you press both knees down, inner thigh and glute, and lift those hips. Yeah. Maybe you extend that top leg and you push it into the ground. Maybe you push into the ground so hard that bottom leg extends and that bottom glute helps. Keeping your feet flexed and wide, we're going to rotate down. Other side. Now, go ahead, come into your beginning stance so you can find it easier, right? So you push away, lift up, press down, extend, and then wherever you are, right? And then down. Yeah, of course. Now, if you're like, well, I can be on my knee, great. You can absolutely take it through a knee plank. If you're like, well, I can be on both knees, fantastic. You can absolutely be in a knee plank, okay? We have just a couple more. Using that big breath, good. Fingertips actually have laser beams to the sky to help you lift, as opposed to going back, which is going to create more tension in your shoulders. Last one, each side. Come back to center, knees down, press yourself into a rest position. Slide your elbows back. So you're kind of in a sphinx position. Don't worry, we're not doing more tricep push-ups. Now, bring one hand to your shoulder. Elbow widens out to the side. Keeping your tailbone gently tucked, we open our collarbones, and then you can straighten that arm, trying to find thoracic rotation, and then back down. So you can straighten your bottom arm when you get there, if you want a little assist to get more thoracic rotation. Yeah, there you go. If you don't, that's fine too. Last one on this side, and then we get to do the other side. Now, if you feel your lower back at all, you might be trying so hard to get rotation that you're actually rotating through your lumbar. So no arching, please. Jesus. Relax your shoulders a little. Okay, wait. Come down. Yeah. No, you're fine. So don't lean to your left when you take your right arm out to the side. Yeah, now hold. Don't straighten that arm quite as fast. Tuck your tailbone slightly. There. That's where you're going. Better. Good. Last one, everybody. Good. Press your hands into the ground, tuck your toes, press your hips up, and start to pedal through your feet. And walk your hands towards your feet or your feet towards your hands, dangling over your legs. Take your hands to one side. Breathe. Other side. Breathe. Come back to center. Roll all the way up. And we're gonna end with just the teeniest bit of balance. You guys have done amazing work today. Bring your heel to your toe, like you're on a tightrope. Now, if you're on the mat, it's more challenging. If you're on the floor, less challenge. If you need help, touch a wall. Now, we're on that tightrope, and you're going to close one or both eyes. Now, your first line of defense is opening your eyes, right? Now, if that's easy for you, great. We're gonna hold that, take one arm overhead, and bring that down. Other arm overhead. Yeah, same. One more. Last side. Now hold that, both arms down, turn your head to one side. Maybe you open an eye, maybe you don't. Turn your head to the other side. Back and forth. One more. I know it's hard. And then other side. So the good, yeah, exactly. So that's why first line of defense is open the eyes. So before you even do anything like closing your eyes, let your feet move, you guys. Let your fingers move, let your arms move, right? You got this? Okay, now try closing one or both eyes. Now, if that feels good, bring an arm overhead. Oh, it's exciting on this side. And then other side. Couple more. Last one, each side. And then if this feels good, keep your eyes closed. Otherwise, open one. We're going to turn your head to one direction. Then the other direction. Back and forth. We've just taken our visual system out of it by closing our eyes. By turning our head, we're challenging our vestibular system, right? And back to center. Bring your shoulders to your ears. Drop them straight down. Nice job, you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome, awesome work. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was hard today. It was not just you. You guys are amazing.